My favorite boxing coach is on, John Pullman. I think he's extremely knowledgeable and good, and I just like talking with him. John, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Did you like that intro? That was a good intro.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you very much. Very nice of you.
Yeah. So I need to get you in here because the Pro Box is running this show this week, and they got a fight between your guy Arnold and Joet Gonzalez. This is a Los Angeles centered fight, and you're a gym guy. You know, you've trained a lot of good top level fighters. I thought your insight on this fight might be interesting.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm always happy to talk about fights, especially fights like this where it's a I think it's going to be actually a really good fight, competitive fight, high level fight, and it's not like super talked about by the mainstream. So I'm always happy to talk about things like that. Give these guys like some light too, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, we run 52 weeks of the year. We do boxing talk. So some of the weeks we're
Right.
going to do some small ones. And this
Yeah.
to me is the biggest fight of the week. Stylistically, what do you see with this matchup? And I guess for Arnold, how hard is it to be in this spot where it feels like the next fight is a title fight? Like how do you not, you know, overlook a fight or get stall out your career in a sense?
Well, you're speaking of Arnold, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Joette's kind of
I think that if Arnold like overlooks Joet, like that would be a very grave mistake, and I just don't see it. I don't see him doing it because Joet is like a really tough guy. He has a deep amateur background. He's beaten a lot of top guys in the amateurs as well, and in the professionals, he's went tit for tat with some of the top guys as well. He's fought for world titles. Uh, he he's one of those guys that he's like if you're not all the way turned on and sharp, it's gonna be a long night for you. Like he's gonna make you work every second, every round. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen him like lately. Like I can't remember. I don't remember how long ago his last fight was. I'd have to look. But so I don't know if if he's the best version of himself. But if he is anywhere near that, he's a really hard fight.
Well, I'm going to do some half-baked research for you, so you already know how we are coming with it. I feel like Joette's a guy that if he had a fought in a different era, he would have been a world champion. His losses, you look at it, Venado Lopez, Emmanuel Navarrete, Shakur Stevenson, and Isaac Dogboe. And the Dogboe was a split decision, and I personally thought he won that fight. Those are his losses. So basically three real bona fide world champions, one
Right.
controversial fight. He hasn't fought since that September fight with Venado, which to my memory was a lot closer than I thought it would have been.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I've seen Joel up close and personal on a lot of occasions. Been by my gym sparring with some of my fighters. I've been to their gym, like nice people, great family. Um, he's a tough guy, man. He comes from a boxing family. His brother, his sisters are boxers. He's he's really a tough guy to deal with. Like he takes a good punch. He throws a lot of punches. Like he got so much experience. He's even a boxing amateur referee, like on his free time. Like he goes to the local boxing shows in LA, and I see him. He referees the amateur fights and like judges them, like because he's just a big boxing person and he gives back to the community that way. So he's a really great guy. He's serious about boxing, and I'm hope for him that maybe taking that layoff and that rest has done him some good because he's had a lot of tough fights with a lot of tough guys, and maybe he'll come back, fresher in this fight and be able to perform really well. So I wish that for him.
He has that physical style though, that style
Yeah.
that's tough. With Arnold, he hasn't lost since he fought Stephen Fulton in 2020. What do
That
you
was a pretty
assess?
good fight too.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Uh, as I recall that one, well, he's a guy I think that I never really seen him in person in the gym. I know he trains out here, but I haven't really crossed paths with him. But I do just from remembering what I've seen of him on TV or the internet. He came to boxing a little bit later. I think he was a kickboxer first. He's explosive. He's tough. He but he has kind of like his own style. It wouldn't be like a traditional boxing style. You could see that there's something different about him, not in a bad way. Um, but it's one of those crossroads fights where like we're gonna see, okay, is this guy worthy of fighting for a world title? Can he get past Joet, later on Joet Gonzalez? Um, so this is where the rubber meets the road for him, I believe. The Stephen Fulton fight was a good fight, Stephen, but it's two totally different styles. Stephen Fulton is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum of the type of fighter that Joet Gonzalez is. Joet Gonzalez is coming right to you. He's going to be right in your face. Uh, you don't got to look hard for him, but he does have defense. But as far as Arnold, I mean, as far as Fulton's like boxing, moving around, boxing on the back foot predominantly. So it's two totally different styles. So we're gonna see how Arnold. I know Arnold has a good trainer too, a friend of mine, good trainer, and I wish for a good fight for both guys, and I think it'll be really interesting.
It's a good LA fight. Arnold's also ranked number 2 in the WBO, right behind Bruce Carrington. The thing I have to worry about just is like seeing Ruben Villa up close and personal. Hearing the next fight, you're going to get a title shot net because this featherweight division is log jammed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So like I always worry about fighters when they're so close to a belt, but then they get a tough fight. And for Joet, this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's hard when they get right to that, like you said, that really close to a world title fight, and then they got to keep fighting tough fights. It's like you're next, you're next, you're next, and they got to keep fighting these tough fights and keep getting up for these tough fights, and it's still not for the world title. That could really be tough on a fighter mentally. So, yeah, that's a good point you're making, and I wonder about that as well.
Yeah.